Hey, hey, stars, what's going on? It's me, Shard Star, and here we are. Listen, I'm back. I'm not going to keep you guys long. We know it's the new year, 2026. And listen, I'm going to start off with some stories. I want to start them off with the latest, which will be about Grammy Award winning gospel singer Donnie McClurkin. And then actually, we have some new updates with the CDC. So, look, I am drinking my Turkey Hill zero sugar lemonade today. Just wanted something different, didn't want anything hot. Um, and listen, that's it. I want to continue to thank you guys for subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing my videos. Love you guys. I need that. Okay, so I'm going to bring up a picture, right, of Donnie so that we all know who we're speaking of. That's what's going to happen first. Um, and then we can get into the story. Okay, here we go. Because I actually have a picture of the person that filed the lawsuit, right? So here we are with that. And let's get it started. Grammy Award winning gospel singer and pastor sued for year-long essaying. Now, Grammy Award winning Donnie McClurkin has been sued by a man who claims the, the Perfecting Faith Church founder and senior pastor assaulted him for years. The guy's name is Giuseppe Qualito, and he alleges McClurkin, best known for his song Stand and We Fall Down, but we get up. Well, initially, he was looking for Donnie to be a mentoring figure. And eventually, he claims that Donnie McClurkin started to assault him. Um, I'm not going to go too deep because it's still things are still coming out. But I did read parts of the lawsuit, and to be honest with you, I saw one YouTuber. He actually read it out, and it was so explicit. Seriously, so explicit. Just doing too much. And we just got out of this Sean Combs and away from all of that. And listen, he's accusing him of essaying him for a number of years. And apparently, this was supposed to have this started back in 2003. And it went on and off, on and off, on and off from what I read from the lawsuit, right? And my problem with that is normally someone is being essayed over and over and over again. What's going on with this essaying for years long? Why do you keep going back? If this is happening and this is what this person is doing, I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to tell you you're wrong or what you should have done or could have done. That's not what this is about. But I just don't understand people saying that they were essayed for years. This isn't your father. This is someone that you're looking for mentorship. Mentorship? And he's essaying you. And he's done it over and over and over and over again. And some of the things that allegedly that is put into this lawsuit, why would you return? Some of the things like waking up with someone doing stuff to you, constantly still going to their houses, or constantly, you even at one time joined him as for mentoring because you were having alleged issues with your sexuality. And as we all know, or most of us know, that Donnie McClurkin has a book out where he admits that, of the gay lifestyle, the homosexual lifestyle, and that he claimed that God had delivered him and changed his life and all of those things, right? I'm not here to judge. It ain't my place. I have to make it for myself. Okay. So this young man claims that he was 21 years old back in 2003 and that he reached out to Donnie for support because he felt like he had gone through what he was going through. And instead of helping, he started to essay you himself. Allegedly, right? Now look, like I said, I read it, most of it, and it was nothing. I would have to change around. So for me to read this, I would have to change around so many words because YouTube won't allow me to use them. It would take me a little while for me to actually sit down and go over. And it's not that serious. If you want to read it, you can find the lawsuit online. You know. Um, what do I think about it? I'm a person with strong religious beliefs, and I come from a very religious family. I have pastors and bishops and first ladies and church mothers and all the things that have been in my family as I was growing up and everything else, right? And still now to this day. Um, I don't know. I don't know. My problem is, like I said, I can understand when things happen. When something happens 10 to 20 times, and this has been going on for close to a decade, and you're still showing up to work because apparently you allegedly went to him for support to be a mentor, and allegedly he hired you as his personal assistant, which meant that you would be in close quarters, one on one with him at home, in the office. You would take trips with him. You would stay next door to him in hotels, or sometimes alleged was in a lawsuit that two rooms were in books, so you had to share a room, and that's when some of these things supposedly and allegedly occurred. So listen, as this case go on, and it will go on. This is a picture of Donnie Mcclurkin, which I had up. So I'm going to take him down, and I'm actually going to put a picture of Giuseppe Carlito up. I mean, there's a picture for him, and I mean, me what I cannot even tell me what you think. I mean, because I don't know anything about this young man. I don't know anything about Donnie Mcclurkin in that manner. Only what I've heard and what he's put in the book. And here's a picture of Giuseppe Carlito, and this is him. He filed this lawsuit against Donnie Mcclurkin on January 2nd. So this is freshly new, and I'm sure we have not heard the last of it at all. For real, for real. Okay, so I woke up this morning, right? And I woke up to um seeing a health. Well, okay, this I'm going to show this up, and then I'm going to let you hear what this is. Now, I woke. This is what I woke up to this morning. Seriously, guys. You know, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., right? Which we've spoken before, and he's now the Secretary of Health and in charge of the CDC. And we talked about last year how he had actually um, he had actually fired a lot of doctors and things that make up the vaccines for us every year. It says RFK Jr., Robert F. K. Jr., CDC, and systemic shift reduce numbers of recommended vaccines for children. Now, you know what? As adults, we're dependent on ourselves most of the time, right? But our children, seriously, up until a certain age, they're really dependent on us. And that's our job as parents to be there for them, right? Well, allegedly, um, where's my phone? I can, because when I woke up to it, I started working on this story early in the beginning, right? Okay, so the CDC is no longer recommending certain vaccines to children. And I know that during the pandemic, a lot of parents didn't want to take the vaccines, and they didn't want their children to take the vaccines. And we have a right to not trust our country, our government as African Americans. That's what I'm speaking of right now. But now I'm speaking of all children. Now, this is no matter what the color is. The CDC is no longer recommending certain vaccines to children, right? And give me one second. I'm going to look up because I started to write on this story like soon as it happened, and soon as I found out about it, and just try to collect all my little notes. And so these are the vaccines that are not being recommended for children immediately. This isn't going into effect in 3 months. This is immediately. Okay. It's the flu vaccine. Now, because of some people have underlying issues. I have diabetes, so now I will take the flu shot no matter what. But I always kind of did take the flu shot. I've caught the flu, of course. I was in the hospital last year with the flu, and I did take a flu shot, but I also somewhat knows how that works. So it's the flu shot, the retrovirus shot, hepatitis A and B shots, RSV shots, meningitis, meningeal disease shot, right? Okay. Now these are shots that we normally get. And I mean, my fear is, as adults, we have a right to do what we want, but it's only but so much we're going to play with our child's life. And these are children whose immune systems are not built up to what they should be, or maybe what they could be. And whatever the issues are, I don't know if we should, or if we should be actually putting our children at risk with something like this. Listening to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who is not a doctor and does not have a doctorate in anything, not even typing or secretarial skills. He doesn't have a doctorate in anything. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't understand how I do understand how he got this position. He was given this position through the new administration and President Trump, who's a businessman. And I keep telling you guys, y'all worry, the things that you worry about your children and health and this, that, and the other. He's a businessman. He's about money. Y'all wanted him in? He's here. Look what you're getting. Okay, so my fear, though, with the recommendations, right? Because I understand that the CDC is no longer recommending these particular shots for children any longer. And I kind of thought of it earlier and I mentioned it to Leighton, and Leighton said, well, a lot of people are going to start to pull their kids out of schools and start homeschooling them because, you go to school completely healthy, but we also know children, we're not talking about young adults, children are very germy. They're doing things that we as adults know not to do, meaning picking up things and putting it in our mouth and just touching everything and never washing our hands, and things that children do. Now, as adults, some of us still do the same. Let's be clear. Hello. But seriously speaking, most of us know, especially going through the pandemic and surviving the pandemic, that you have to wash your hands. You have things you need to do, right? Well, I didn't think of that, and it may affect school as far as people not wanting their kids around. But then you also have a group of parents and people that don't want their kids to be vaccinated with any of these shots, to be honest with you. And if I'm not mistaken, we were up until here being recommended for 17 shots, meaning from birth up until, and it's now down to 11. So they're slowly stripping away. And remember, Robert F. Kennedy, and I don't have to say allegedly, he was the one that said that he believed that African American people and Caucasian people needed two different separate vaccines. Like we're not all from the human race and we all have the same organs and the same issues, and just weird. So here we are. We're going to get more of the crap ourselves. Listen, we have to police our own homes and police our own children. My extra fear that maybe people haven't thought about, if the CDC is no longer recommending these shots, how much longer will the insurance company want to cover these shots? Get it? Because if it's not recommended, if it's not preventive care, then what is it? And my thing is, you would rather my child not take something as simple as a flu shot, but yet as a child, get the flu, have to go into the hospital, running up a hospital bill instead of just getting a shot, a vaccine, and not having to actually, I mean, of course, you can take the shot and get the shot, but let's be clear, something is better than nothing if that's actually what it is. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I don't know. I just wanted to let you guys know that, yeah, they're suggesting that our kids not get hepatitis A and B and the flu shot. And like I said, at this point, they're recommendations. But when they recommend things, usually the insurance company fall in line and want to pay for the things that's being recommended. Because again, it's preventive care or a form of preventive care, right? I'm not a doctor. I just play one on TV. Okay. But seriously speaking, how much longer will the insurance company? They don't want to pay for much now anyway. So if it's not recommended, how much longer will they pay for it? And for those that want their children vaccinated, will that be another out-of-pocket cost for you? Because it's not being recommended by the CDC? Okay. Well, let's move along. In New York, this is some New York news. New York has its own new mayor, Mayor Zaran Mamdani. I believe so. I live in New Jersey. I'm no longer a New Yorker in that manner, at heart only. It says Governor Kathy Holcomb and Mayor Zohran Mamdani celebrated the 1 year anniversary of the New York City's congestion pricing program, which has shown remarkable success in reducing traffic and generating significant revenue for the MTA. The program, which requires motorists to pay a fee to enter Manhattan, most congestion streets below 60th Street, has resulted in 27 million fewer vehicles entering the congestion relief zone. I don't really believe that. I have still driven in the city during regular hours and it's still traffic, real talk. But they're claiming that it has reduced traffic by 11% and has the net revenue for congestion pricing for 1 year was $550 million. So I think it's pretty safe to say they ain't never getting rid of that. Okay? 1 year. They made $550 million, which is allegedly generating revenue for the MTA. Now, you know, the same MTA, Metropolitan Transit Authority, that claims they need money every which way. Why are you raising fares? Why did you feel the need to raise your fares on your buses and trains by 10 cents from $2.90 to now $3? I stated it to you in yesterday's video. It's now $3. It will cost you $3 to ride any train or bus in New York City each way. Okay? So if congestion pricing generated such significant revenue, such as $550 million that you did not have the year before, because this is the first year. So remember the year before, you didn't have it. Now you did. You're bragging about it making $550 million, but yet you raise your fees for the buses and trains by 10 cents. And 10 cents may not seem a lot to some people, but there are people using the trains and buses by the millions on a daily basis. So how greedy are you, MTA, really? I mean, I'm from New York. I know what it is. I remember 1 year, allegedly, there were two sets of books. They had the sets of books that was made up, and then they had the real sets of books. And it was found out. This is some years ago, allegedly. And nothing still happened. I think they raised the fare that year or the next year. They didn't even care. It's like, what? So again, congestion pricing has generated significant revenue for the MTA in the form of $550 million, but yet they raised the fare on this past Sunday. Don't worry, I'll wait. Okay, so wanted you guys to let and again, they're having a celebration and a ribbon cutting and congratulations for first year anniversary. They made $550 million. They're never going to get rid of it. I remember one of the promises from President Trump was that when he got into office, he was going to kill congestion pricing. Remember? But it seemed like allegedly to me, when he could no longer do business in New Jersey or legally own a business in his name in New York, meaning, sorry, I said New Jersey, in New York, he kind of didn't care about New York at all. Yet his name is still on Trump Plaza and all of these places. Nevertheless, I want you guys to know, for those of us that travel, and I mean, most of us are now traveling more than ever. And I mean, when I say traveling, I don't mean from New York to Miami and from Miami to LA. I'm meaning going to Africa, going to Egypt, just going places, right? Well, as of January 1st, 2026, a total of 39 countries are subject to a full or partial visa restriction for entering the United States due to recent travel bans. Now, they're saying total of 39 countries, right? I'm not going to sit here and read you some of the countries, but a lot of them are African countries. You have Iran, you have Syria, you have North Korea, you have Venezuela. Surprise, surprise. You have Yemen, you have Libya, you have Somalia, Sudan, Cuba, Iraq. Of course, the list goes on. And a lot of these have always been on the list. Afghanistan, Pakistan, Lebanon, and now they have Haiti and Bangladesh and again Egypt. There are some places that are just doing partial, which is Turkey, the South Sudan, Central African Republic. So, like I said, if you're traveling to any foreign country, take a chance, take a time to look up Google if your traveling place is having issues with banning their visas, either partially or fully. So, like I said, just want you to know, I want you to check into it. Now, I know that a lot of people have heard Kerry Washington make a statement, and it's ring true because actually someone brought it up to me yesterday. Because what happened was they were talking about, or me and some friends were talking about, um, the last new thing that just happened with Venezuela, right? And we found it hilarious, hilarious that our president of the United States sent someone to another country to capture or kidnap, depending on who you speak to, um, another criminal, or should I say felon, in our words, to bring them back to for justice when our own president is a felon. And time and time and time and time. I will sit here for the next few minutes saying time again because you know how many times, right? So I don't know. We were laughing about that, but then Kerry Washington says if Donald Trump can run for president as a felon, then should that be removed from the boxes from job applications? There should be no checkoff box for if you have a felon or not. Our president has quite a few. So I'm just stating that, Kerry wanted to know how fair was that and how much sense it makes. And it's just like I said, it makes as much sense as our president claiming sending someone over to take, allegedly kidnap, allegedly capture another criminal, head of a country, dictator or not, to bring them over for them to answer for their crimes. Don't worry, I'll wait. Ridiculous. I mean, I think that we are like a brunt of huge jokes. Other countries are just looking at us like, are you kidding me? Okay. So, we hear a lot of stories about things that happens on planes, meaning, we've seen the thing where the woman behind someone takes their shoe and sock off and put their leg, through the seat and different things, just different people are clipping toenails and fingernails and just doing all types of things on the plane, right? What's the weirdest thing that you've seen done on a plane? I want to know because I'm going to tell you a story and you tell me how weird and unsafe. I don't even know how she got it on a plane, but let's talk about it. A woman on a Delta flight recently gained attention for her seatmate's unusual behavior during the flight. In a viral TikTok video, which you can go on TikTok and pull up, she showcases her seatmate using a curling wand while seated. The curling irons that you plug in that produce heat, which could possibly produce fire. I don't even know how she got through security with a curling iron in her carry-on. It could be in a suitcase, maybe, and maybe they don't even want that there because they don't want something to happen. Wow. But if it doesn't have a battery, then there's no problem because it's a plug. Okay. So she should have had that. And I'm assuming you should have had that in your luggage that went under the plane because it's not a battery, it's a plug-in. So there's nothing to explode. The only problem is the only danger is when it's plugged in. And hello, this woman has it plugged in on a flight. Okay, so they said that her seatmate was using a curling wand while seated, which many found inappropriate and unsafe. The video sparked discussions online, with some viewers calling for the airline to intervene, while others defended the passengers' actions. And the incident has left many questioning the acceptability and the acceptable behavior on flights and the responsibilities of American Airlines, Delta Airlines, just airlines, period, staff to maintain a safe environment, right? Um, I don't understand how that's weird to me because I would assume that, I don't know. What if she was sneaky enough to take her purse to the bathroom, right? Take it out her thing, plug it in into the bathroom, and curl her hair, and something happens and it falls and it catches fire. Would you want to be on a plane 30,000 feet in the air while it's on fire? That's the reason certain things are just a danger, right? Um, they don't understand why other airline stewardesses didn't see this because apparently she was in the aisle seat. That's what they were saying. She weren't even by the window. She was in an aisle seat. So what's going on in this Delta flight that no one saw that? And even those that saw, you saw it. Why didn't you say anything instead of pulling out your phone and videotaping it? Why wouldn't you call? Because that's a danger to you right then and there. Videotaping is fine, but I would have still called the flight attendant and be like, look at this. This is ridiculous. And I think we're all in danger at this point. Stop it, whatever. So let me know, comment and let me know what's the weirdest thing you saw on a flight. Okay. Well, this is my last story and I'm going to let you guys go. I'm sure that most of us are aware of Eddie Levert, right? From the OJs, right? Give me a second. Well, I wasn't aware of the story up until a couple of days ago, and I just started to read a little more into it, and I was like, okay, let's see what this is. So I'm going to show you a picture of Eddie Levert, and come on, here we go. Eddie Levert Sr. clarifies his Trump stance after he heard that the OJs are performing at the White House. So he's saying that apparently he did a stance. I'm going to take this down. This is Eddie Levert of the OJs, the famous OJs, right? And let's get into this a little bit. Let's see if old Eddie is on our side. Okay, it says R&B legend Eddie Levert Sr. has sparked some confusion on social media after sending mixed messages about performing at an upcoming party for President Donald Trump. Initially, Levert, who is the OJ's lead singer, said he would not perform at any event that Mr. Trump threw. And then they said they received another. Levert went on Facebook and told his fans that he's hearing about a possibility of the OJs performing at Trump was having an upcoming party. He says, I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that the OJs are performing at the White House, Levert wrote. If that's true, know that I won't be there and have nothing to do with it. All money ain't good money, especially orange money. Y'all be blessed. So it seemed like Eddie was like, I don't care who, y'all can report that the OJs is coming trying to shame me if you want. And I don't care if you like the OJs or not. We not coming. We not supporting that. Okay, so Eddie Levert Sr. stated that to all his booking agents and his managers, get it together and get it together quick. He's saying, don't book me at the White House because if you book the OJs, he won't be there. And he's the lead singer. So, listen, guys, I want you guys to be intentional. I love you guys. I told you you're going to start seeing more and more and more of me. Please continue to subscribe, like, please comment, and share. I love you guys, and I will see you guys soon. Enjoy the remainder of your week. And like I said, you're going to see me sooner than you think, okay? Have a great day. Love you guys.